All right, we are live. I ran into some technical difficulties, but let's wait for people start to log in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are live with me, welcome. If you're catching this on the replay, I thank you. So today we are having my first live. It is called 15 Minutes with Veronica. And so what we're going to do is just wait a few minutes for people to log in and we're going to get started. All right, let's go. All right. Mm, 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 mm. All right. Hey, how you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. And right on time. I love punctual people because this is only 15 minutes. I'm not going to be on here for 3 hours. And on top of that, I ran into some technical difficulties. Hey, Tony, I ran into some technical difficulties. I did not know how to start the live. So I will get better as time goes along. But I welcome you all and thank you all for being here tonight. So let me explain what's going on. I have started this YouTube channel to share information, to share stories, and share coping skills, somatic wellness, all of the things for folks living in the hood, who are hood adjacent, or just knows what it's like to live under a lot of stress and trauma. So today, what I did to kick things off, oh, I got a podcast bro microphone. You see this? So I'm like the podcast bro, except I'm not doing a podcast. So just look at this. Yeah. Anyway, so what we're going to do is 15 minutes with Veronica every Monday. I'll be on here from 7 to 7:15, answering questions that people have submitted to me. Sometimes I'll be able to answer 2 questions. Sometimes I might be able to answer 1 question, but please believe the questions will get answered, all right? And so all questions will be put into my handy dandy fight on cup. And what's going to happen is I will shake that cup up. And after that, shake that cup, I'm gonna stick my hand in that cup. And when I stick my hand in that cup, I'm gonna pull out a piece of paper. And when I pull out that piece of paper, I'm gonna read the question that's on it. Okay. Now, depending on the complexity of the question, it might take the whole 15 minutes or it might take 5 minutes. It really depends on what question I pull out of this cup. All right. So if you ready, put a heart in the chat and we're going to get this thing going. All right. Let's go. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Shake it up, shake it up, shake it up. All right. For those of you who are here, put in the chat where you're watching from. What city are you watching from? No, Kyle, you're not supposed to put the word heart. You're supposed to press the emoji heart. Okay, so let's pull our first question out. Okay. That's a balloon. Kyle, I would get you. All right. So this question is thank you, Antoinette. Please show your friend how to do it. This question is grieving, and I read questions the way that you all send it in. Okay. So grieving people that are still alive. So there are 2 ways that this question could go. Yeah, welcome, Candace. So there are 2 ways this question could go. So grieving people that are still alive, right? So either you're grieving someone who is ill and getting ready to transition, or you are grieving the loss of a friendship or a relationship, or you are trying to figure out how to live life while grieving. So the question is grieving people that are still alive, right? And I'm going to go with you are grieving someone who may be possibly transitioning, right? And so if this is what you are referring to, losing a loved one is never ever easy. right? Um, and especially if they are no, the second one, that's my question. Oh, so is grieving a relationship? No, the second one, that's my question. Okay. So is it grieving a relationship? All right. Whoo, see, I'm glad. Look, it's 3 ways this question could have gone. I'm glad you are here. What and I'm glad I picked your question. Okay. So grieving a relationship, right? We bought this gonna be like Wendy Williams today, right? Uh when you are grieving a relationship, right? It is a difficult thing because the person, you might still see them, you might still think about them, you might know people who know them, right? And it depends if it's a romantic relationship or even a friendship, right? You're still going to grieve the loss of that. So, in order to, and I've been through this, I've grieved friendships that I've had to let go, right? So, rule number one, all of the things. Okay. So rule number 1, have some compassion for yourself because there is a reason you had to do that. You either have to set a boundary or you realize this individual was toxic, whatever it may be, right? So I always say give yourself compassion and give yourself validation for the decision that you made for the well-being of yourself. Now, with that being said, it's not going to be easy to grieve that relationship, right? So, I always recommend find different patterns to do. Like if you went grocery shopping with that person, go to a different grocery store, do something different, right? Or if you are a person who likes to journal or reflect, reflect on that relationship, reflect on the dynamic, right? But then remind yourself, I had to do what was best for me. I had to let it go so that I can thrive, so that I can prosper. This is how you have self compassion and empathy for yourself because when you have to separate yourself from a family member or a friend, it's usually a very tough decision. And you're going to always think about, oh, this was our song, or we went to Cabo together, all of the things, right? And then I want you to take some time to think about why you made the decision and what are you going to do to nurture your decision? And how are you going to put yourself in a position to be okay with it? Right. And I do recommend if you have anything that reminds you of that individual to kind of get rid of it, put it in a box. You don't have to throw it away right now. Put it in a box because what's going to happen if you don't, you're going to always look at them items and think about that person. Right. If that song that you like with that person, come on, hit next. So this no longer serves me. Throw it away. Kyle said throw it away. We got to work up the steps, Kyle. Now, if you put the stuff in the box, that's step 1. Step 2 is what Kyle recommended, which is throw the box away. Or if you're feeling really froggy, burn it. But let's start with first putting it in the box before you throw it away. And the reason why I tell people don't throw it away right away because they have to resolve the issue that they have with that person, so they could write a letter of goodbye, a letter saying I hate you, a letter of forgiveness to themselves, put it in that box, and then you throw it away. You have to release the energy that's attached to yourself and that person. Okay. So I always recommend do a cleanse for yourself. Do something that you love to do. Go new places. Meet new people. Remind yourself that you are worthy to be loved and worthy of receiving the love that you deserve. If it's family, remember, just because they're kin don't mean they're friend. I want you to understand that we don't get to choose our family. So if it's a boundary that you have to set with a family member and you kind of miss them, or when you go to family gatherings, you see them and you're like, well, damn, I'm not even talking to them anymore, right? You have to be okay with your decision first. A lot of times when people grieve, they grieve over the pain. Sometimes they grieve from guilt. sometimes they grieve about the unknown or the shoulda, woulda, couldas. I want you to make sure you're okay with the decision that you made and stand on business when it comes to it. And that means if those people come back, y- keep the boundary. And then when you're ready, burn, trash, or throw it, or as cows say, cows always about making that money, sell their things. At the end of the day, you got to have compassion for yourself and the decision that you made. So that way you can find the strength within yourself to keep going. I always tell people we cannot change the past and we cannot predict the future. Only thing you can do is give yourself grace as you go day to day to manage having that person no longer in your life. And if that still don't work, text me. If that still don't work, because relationships are hard. Setting boundaries with people is hard. Telling people you're no longer willing to share your energy, your time, it's hard because sometimes it comes from a painful place. You may come to the realization that this person was not your person or they were not for you. And then you think about all the time and energy and love that you gave to this person. And then you start to grieve the loss of your time, the loss of your love, the loss of your energy because you may have felt like you wasted it on this person or you wish you wouldn't have given as much. So I hope that you find time to be compassionate with yourself and stand on business and validate your decision. All right, y'all. All right. This was a good one. And I'm glad you were here because I was like, I don't know what the hell this question meant. Don't y'all hype that man up because y'all know that man a fool. Okay, we have time for one more question. Okay, I like the way it sounds when it's shaking it. Oh, I thought one was gonna. It's stuck together. Okay, this question is: how do you know which therapist to choose? All right, how do you know which therapist to choose? So I always tell people you treat your therapist when you're looking for a therapist, you do not have to take the first person that you have a session with. I always encourage individuals to think about why they are going to therapy. Like, what is the reason that you're going to therapy? And if you know the reason, right, find someone who specializes in that reason. And then additionally, I always encourage people do book the consultation, book that free consultation, 15-minute consultation, because guess what? You might get a therapist and say, I'm going to commit to this therapist, and you did not do a consultation, and you end up with somebody that's trash. So always book. It says, how do you know the therapist is right? How do you know which therapist to choose? By making sure you book the consultation, making sure they specialize in what you need. If you have an EAP, use your EAP for those 3 sessions so you can see if this person is even a fit. I was looking for a therapist for myself, and I found that based on this person's profile in the consultation, I thought this person was a fit for me, right? We have our first session. First of all, the room she was in was really dark, which I'm not against because I don't like a lot of light. So we're going through the things. I didn't want to tell her I was a therapist, right? So we're just going through the motions for the first session. And so she was like, so this is your homework assignment. And she said, write out 3 goals you want to accomplish. I said, well, I'm not here about setting goals. She said, well, I only do solution focused therapy. And I'm like, your profile didn't say that. She said, yes, we set goals and we work on them every week. I said, but what if I don't need help? Hey, Shadia. I said, what if I don't need help setting goals? And she said, well, it is what it is. She said, this is the type of therapy. And I was out of there. She never saw me again. I said, ma'am, all the different modalities to treat a person, you gonna tell me you only focus or solution focus? So, for those of you who don't know, solution focus is like a brief form of therapy for people who may be stuck on making a decision. And then this person guides them into finding the solution or finding the answer to that problem. So, make sure the person specializes in what you want or what you need. Do the EAP sessions, do the consultation. If they have a social media, just go browse on their social media or their website or whatever. You have to make sure that they have the personality that you need in order to be vulnerable. Being in therapy means you are going to be vulnerable. You're going to share some very dark parts of yourself, and you want someone who's going to hold the space for you and give you what you need in order to make it through or process or resolve. Because sometimes not everything can come to a resolution in therapy. Some people come in thinking you're going to get fixed. It's not magic. So, for the person who asked this question, how do you know what therapist to choose? Why are you going to therapy? You broke up with your boyfriend. You hate your boss. You having nightmares about your childhood. Why are you going to therapy? Once you figure out the why, ask yourself, do I want to pay or do I want my insurance to cover? A lot of therapists do private pay. Do I want to drive or do I want to do virtual? These are things that you need to consider when choosing a therapist. And always remember, you don't have to keep a therapist. You can fire your therapist. If they are not helping you feel safe, if they're not validating you, you don't stay. It's just like a relationship. If that person ain't loving on you the way you need to be loved on, why are you staying? So, those are the ways to know which therapist to choose. And once you choose a therapist and they are not a fit, because some people be faking and fronting, like that lady who told me she only do solution focus. Can't, let me not say that. Okay, so those are the ways to see. You broke up with yours. The therapist I have now, she stuck with me for life. I love this lady. It took me 3 therapists to find her, but she is an amazing, amazing therapist. And I feel I always say, I wonder if I validate my clients the way she validates me. So, if you need help finding a therapist, hit me up. The Compton Wellness Collective. We do have our directory of therapists, and we actually have therapists in the collective. So, if you need a therapist, if you need a life coach, if you just need information, um, hit me up. Hello at prosperwithvch.com and I will help you find a therapist and give you some questions to ask your therapist before making a decision. Okay. So, guess what, y'all? That is all the time we have for today. I appreciate y'all. That was quick. I might make it longer because I have more stuff to say, but I wanted to make sure I stuck within the time frame. I allowed it for myself because I was hella nervous. So thank God for Mr. Higgins who be pumping me up. I can't do no wrong with him yelling, "Go Veronica!" But this is going to be a weekly segment. So if you have questions, send them in to hello at prospervch.com or inbox me on Instagram. And I just want you all to know I am on a journey this year to exist in my authenticity, but also help people in on a different platform. So if you see me posting TikToks, if you see me doing more on Instagram, you'll see me do more on what's this thing called? YouTube. It is because it is a goal I set for myself. Always set a goal for yourself, right? That you feel that you want to achieve in different domains of your life. So personal, professional, and social, right? Always do that. And then visualize how you can get yourself there. And then after you visualize it, you make the action plan to make it happen. And with that, I say good night. Always keep it hood. Always keep it holistic. I love you all and see y'all next week. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Like, follow, and subscribe. Yay, yay. And I would play music, but they be doing stuff with copyright if you play other people's music up in here. Yes, I just said that, Tony. Like button, subscribe, and oh, thank you, Tony. See, what, Tony? I wish I could send you. Tony, you are the best. So like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Kyle said yes. Turn on those notifications. We will be back next week with 15 minutes with Veronica, and I will be shaking up the cup and answering questions that have been submitted. And I have a lot of questions that people submitted. So it's going to get good, y'all. All right. Y'all be safe and see y'all next week. Bye.